Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we have been keeping up to date on the latest news regarding the potential all-out war with Iran. And let's get into some of these stories to basically wrap it all up going into the latest news. I must first say that obviously recently we saw the news of the U.S. strike killing Iran's most important military commander, Qassem Soleimani, and obviously it's gotten the world wondering, are we on the brink of possibly a world war? Personally, I think that we've been in one for a long time, but I can't help but look at this meme and think, I feel very similar. 2020 is going to be my year. World War III is trending on the second day. Yeah, I think a lot of us feel that way right now. To break it down, essentially what happened was, well, the U.S. has been going against Iran since, for decades and decades, almost the last century, but since the 1950s with the Iranian coup, then onto the hostage crisis, proxy wars, surrounding their borders, blowing up all these countries in the surrounding area, causing destabilization, causing order out of chaos, essentially. And what we saw is Iran, I think it was a couple months back, actually June 2019. What happened was two ships got hit in the Gulf of Oman, and it was blamed on Iran. However, the ship owners themselves said, no, that wasn't Iran. So they kind of the mainstream media had to throw that story out to the wayside. And then leading into recently, a U.S. contractor was killed in a strike by Iranian militants. Those militants were then struck. So 25 Iranian militants who were fighting ISIS in the region were killed, and that led to the embassy being stormed recently in Baghdad, Iraq. Like Iraq needs any more problems after they've been slowly starting to stabilize and get back to normal. Here comes the U.S. causing more problems. The U.S. deployed thousands of troops. They overtook the embassy, and then they killed Qassem Soleimani, which, again, Soleimani isn't a good person. No one here is saying that he was a good person. What we are saying is, what the hell is the U.S. doing in the region in the first place? The contractor got killed. I feel bad for his family. Why were they there? Millions of people have died in Iraq, and here we are continuing this charade under the guise of spreading freedom and democracy. What you're doing is murdering millions of people. I've talked with the Iraqis. I've talked with people on the ground in the Middle East. They don't want the U.S. there, and they were about to overthrow Saddam Hussein before they came in, and now we're going after Iran, something we have been predicting for far too long. And with the Afghanistan papers and the Syrian dossier recently, Afghanistan papers showing that the whole Afghanistan war was based on a lie, and of course the Syrian dossier showing that they had no evidence that Assad gassed his own people, but they wanted the public's approval to go in and bomb Syria. How is anyone buying this anymore? It's beyond me. It's insane. And look at this insanity. As this article shows from the Los Angeles Times, Pence falsely links Iranian general to 9/11 attacks. They're pulling the old 9/11 card again, utilizing something that happened 20 years ago once again to try and bring down another country. It doesn't seem to ever end. It's so absurd. It's a Hegelian dialectic, a problem, reaction, solution, repeat for eternity, and they just keep reaching into recycled material to get more reason to mass murder overseas. And again, the Iranian government isn't good, but what business is that of the United States? They aren't going to be able to attack the United States, and they say, well, it's for stabilization, it's for stopping escalation of war, it's for keeping Americans in the region safe. By killing Iran's top commander, practically the equivalent of Mike Pence in general form in Iran? Moving on to the next article here out of Zero Hedge, as it says, no more threats. Trump warns Iran 52 targets will be hit very fast and hard. I mean, it shows some tweets where he says in this one, Iran is talking very boldly about targeting certain USA assets as revenge for our ridding the world of their terrorist leader. Then it says, then it reminded his followers that just exactly what Soleimani had done. Soleimani had just killed an American and badly wounded many others, not to mention all the all of the people he had killed over his lifetime, including recently hundreds of Iranian protesters. He was already attacking our embassy and preparing for additional hits in other locations. Iran has been nothing but problems for many years. Then came this warning. Let this serve as a warning that if Iran strikes any Americans or American assets, we have targeted 52 Iranian sites representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago, some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture. And those targets and Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. The USA wants no more threats. I don't think that region wants any more threats, Trump. I mean, this is what's kind of crazy, and I'm going to get into more of this. It breaks into a bigger issue, but what I can't help but notice is that he's talking about all these people that Soleimani killed. Yeah, the Iranian government is not good, and we called it out recently about how protesters burned down one of their central banks in Iran. Great, there's a lot of movement in a good direction by people on the ground in Iran. But what the hell does the U.S. have to do with any of that? Oh, well, he killed some. Well, why were they there? Iran is surrounded by U.S. bases, and they're expected to just keep getting poked and poked and poked and threatened over and over again. I don't support the Iran attacking the United States, but they wouldn't unless the U.S. is surrounding their country, poking them a bunch of times. What the hell do you expect to happen? And this notion that you have to support all-out war or you should move to Iran, like this recent trend, move to Iran if you don't like it. That shouldn't even, that's such a low IQ, stupid, lazy way to look at this problem. Now, moving on, as it says, Iraq votes to expel U.S. troops as Iranian MPs chant death to America. And this is something that is a big story today. Iraq's parliament passes resolution in favor of expelling all U.S. troops because they're sick of it. First of all, it's not even Iraq's war. They're attacking and targeting Iran in Iraq after they've created a battlefield and killed millions of people, thousands and thousands of children. And let's just continue this on a little bit more and use Iraq as a battlefield. Iraq's like, we are starting to build up. Look at Erbil, Iraq. Erbil, Iraq is a first world city. It looks brilliant. There's a great tourism. They're incredibly inviting people there. People seem to not understand what they do not see themselves. And some faraway land, they can't comprehend that people want to live their lives and they're being destroyed. I mean, what would you do if people from another country kept saying your leaders are bad, so we're going to overthrow your leaders, kill millions of you, and then arm and fund the terrorist groups in the region, causing more instability, order out of chaos, perpetuation of the same thing over and over again? Like I said, the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution, repeat. What would you do? You would be pissed off, right? And rightly so. Why are we just sitting by apathetically while this happens? I mean, we saw Julian Assange, who's now in jail and getting murdered by the government. He just passed on information, free information, showing the U.S. government murdering children with drones and laughing and joking about it. But no, he's in jail. He's wrong. We should be involved in all these wars, kill all these people, and just cause millions of casualties, and they're the bad guys. Look back at this a little bit. Going back, propping up Hitler against the communists, then propping up the USSR against Hitler, and the USSR killed over 50 million people, and then arming and funding the Mujahideen, later Al-Qaeda, against the USSR. The U.S. entangles himself in everything and creates a problem and comes in as a solution. Look at the 7-country plan that General Wesley Clark talked about all those years ago. And now there's all this breaking news, Iran pulling out of nuclear deal commitment after U.S. strike that killed Soleimani. There's also, and the nuclear deal, the whole thing with that, people keep saying, well, Obama did this. Obama isn't relevant. By the way, Obama did try to start war with Iran multiple times. I was reporting on it at the time. There's so many examples on he made some sweetheart deal. Great. That just because you make deals with countries doesn't mean you're not gonna destroy them. The U.S. made all these deals under Obama with Libya too. Didn't stop them from overthrowing and murdering Gaddafi. I mean, it's just people try to use sides on this, left or right, to try and benefit their point, confirmation bias, sitting down on their hands and, saying all these things that Obama did were bad. And he dropped more bombs than any president in history, but Trump is going to actually beat that at the rate he's at right now. And people are like, oh, but when Trump does it, it's about taking down the deep state. The greatest form of big government and globalism and communism is a military-industrial complex worldwide. I mean, that's not draining the swamp, that's growing it, and it's like a cancer. It's taking over the world and continuing to kill crazy amounts of people. As this article says, CFR president says the world will be the battlefield after Iran escalation. We have to remember that Iran is a much more powerful country than Iraq was. So yeah, starting a war with them. And you know, they're very inviting people. I've heard nothing but good things from everyone I know that's ever been there. I wasn't that far away a couple months ago in Turkey on the Syrian border near Iraq. Just brilliant region. More history there than anywhere else in the world that I know of. And it's just so sad and disgusting to watch this perpetuate. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure to press like on this video, and also think about looking at the links below, because these videos are very demonetized, because you can't speak out against mass murder anymore on YouTube without getting demonetized, censored, and shadow banned. Anyway, finally, this is interesting. Zero Hedge says, with Iran war looming, Congress has been left out. Again, another example of how, you know, no wars have technically been declared, legally speaking, with magical ink on paper since 1942. Everything is basically, it's all illegal wars technically, and I consider attacking or killing a Soleimani act of war, a declaration of war. Anyone with common sense does, but people keep getting caught up in the legalities. Well, technically, never mind technically, you killed one of their top leaders. I mean, that's a declaration of war, and stop, obviously. So it's frustrating. All the neocons are coming out and supporting this, and so many Trump supporters that were libertarians are sitting on their hands and not being critical of individual actions and perpetuation of things that they called out under Obama and Bush and Clinton before that. But now they're just like, trust the plan, everything's fine. There's more to this 4D chess. No, this isn't 4D chess anymore. This is just a perpetuation of establishmentarianism, and John Bolton is happier than one could possibly imagine right now. The guy who said he wanted to nuke Iran and Cuba and Syria and North Korea and every other country in the world anyway. Oh, he got kicked out. Everyone was like, whoa, great, he's fired, so now there's not going to be wars. And I was reporting live that moment, as I've been reporting live since the moment this story broke, that they're just going to replace him with someone else. That's not how the government works. That's not how the military-industrial complex works. You don't just lay down suddenly, oh, all is good, nothing further is going to happen. This is terrorism. It's enforcing an ideology by fear, the definition of terrorism. And again, it's so sad. I wanted to go to Iran. I wanted to go to Iraq. I wanted to go to Syria in the next year. And I mean, they're just making me look terrible as well. If I go to that region, they make all of us look terrible if we're from the United States or Canada or Britain or France or Germany, and it puts everyone else in much more danger, and all under the guise of spreading freedom. Meanwhile, it's all about the oil, it's all about the central banking, it's all about the control of the masses, it's all about furthering slavery worldwide, and that's what they are desperately trying to catch up with as the economy falters, and we look at the fall of the US dollar in the next several years. Fundamentally, it has to happen, and we are seeing that all fiat currencies eventually revert to zero, and every time that happens, they need a war. That's our bottom line today. I appreciate everyone joining us. Make sure to check those links below. Find us on flote.app, flote.app. Buy this shirt that says "No War in Iran" on our Teespring store. Help support independent media. Check out all of our other selections and products there as well, and help us out any way you can with pledges, donations, whatever it might be. I'm willing to go to these countries and report on the ground, but I can't do it without you guys helping us out here at WHAM, because we have been muzzled, and I mean, media is in general being muzzled right now. Julian Assange is still in prison. Chelsea Manning's still in prison. And oh, by the way, something that we haven't been hearing about as much with the distractions that have been going on in the media, from impeachment to war, Epstein still didn't kill himself. Anyway, I appreciate everyone joining us today. Check those links below, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here at WHAM, don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We cannot do it without you guys. Every donation is extremely, extremely appreciated, as we're getting incredibly shadow banned. We've lost 80% of our audience since January of 2019 and counting. They are ripping us apart here on YouTube, and the only thing we could do in the meantime, as we prepare for the next big step, is to ask for help from the viewers that support our free information that we try to post on a daily basis. You can also find us on Subscribestar, where just $1 a month, that's all it takes, $1 a month, is all it takes to truly make a huge difference. If everyone gave $1 a month, it would change everything for independent media, and we could win this information war, and we can defeat the mainstream medias eventually. And of course, on Subscribestar, we post subscriber-only content that you'll only see on Subscribestar. So make sure to pledge there, become a patron. That makes a huge difference, guys. And also, don't forget to check out our Bitcoin address below in the comments and description, as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on the alternatives. We will likely be deleted by YouTube in the next 2 years. It's already happening on a vast scale, so make sure to find us on float.app. That's flote.app. At Josh Sigurdson, as well as at WAM, W-A-M. Float.app is replacing every social media, and I mean, it's just incredible the opportunities it provides for not just creators, but for the average person who wants to get away from these nannies telling them what they can or cannot see. They plan to replace Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon. You could subscribe to us on Float and pledge with cryptocurrency. It's really innovative. We are also on BitChute at World Alternative Media, as well as so many others, Minds, PocketNet. You can find us at World Alternative Media on Instagram. There's many options. And finally, don't forget to join us at Anarchapulco 2020, the famous event, the best liberty event known to mankind, other than perhaps Anarcho Vegas 2020. There are 2 major events coming up that we are extremely excited about, and you can use promo code WAM, that's W-A-M, and save 10% on your tickets to these legendary conferences. There's so many amazing people speaking there. You won't want to miss it. So make sure to support in any way you can, even if it's just sharing our videos, pressing like, pressing to be notified. Anything helps, folks. You are the change you wish to see. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Thank you.